Hey, it's James Lynch. So Dean Thomas, the coach who got in a lot of trouble this past weekend for some of the comments he made regarding his fighter, Gillian Robertson, started off the Deep Waters podcast by apologizing to his fighter, Gillian Robertson, after UFC 330. Let's go have a listen, and then I'll give my take on this in a second. So here's Dean Thomas starting things off here today on Monday morning.
We know how this is. It's an emotional roller coaster. You're dealing with the same insecurities, the same highs and lows.
But it's just not the corner, it's everything leading up.
Everything leading up to it. Everything leading up to it. You have to deal with all that stuff. And it's an emotional roller coaster. And I've been very vocal about this, that it's not my favorite thing to do. I've tried to quit time and time before. I thought when Tyron Woodley got knocked out by Jake Paul, I was like, yo, it's my last time doing this.
I remember you.
Yeah, my last time doing this. I'm not doing this no more. But I took on Gillian. And I have to say, Saturday night was the most inappropriate time for me to bring up the fact that I did not want a corner again. It was completely irresponsible. It was despicable. I shouldn't have done it. I should have waited till maybe even today. I should have waited till a different time than take away her moment. Now, this is a young lady that I've worked with for her entire career. The last 7 years, it's just been me and her working endlessly, just together, traveling,
that's why
working together.
Back home doesn't see.
Right.
By the way, can I just point this out? It is so annoying that Masvidal keeps interrupting him. Like, we get it. He's your buddy. I know you're trying to give him like pointers, but like, that's kind of annoying. Am I wrong here? Just like, let the man talk. Let Dean Thomas get his moment to, say everything here, which is what I'm going to let him do right now. But just a side note, Masvidal is being extremely annoying in this clip.
We've been working endlessly, time and time again together. And I remember her coming to me crying, I just would like to win 2 in a row, 3 in a row. And she went on this amazing run. She's broken records. And I selfishly stole her moment that night. And instead of congratulating her on her run, I stole her moment. And I want to apologize to her for that because I stole her moment. And I was completely wrong. I'm ashamed. I'm embarrassed. But I'm not too big to say I'm sorry. And for her, Gillian, I love you. I got your back. I've always had your back. This is not the end. I've always had your back. And I want you to know that I'm always here for you. I'm always going to support you. And whatever you need, I'm always here for you the same way I've been for you for the last 7 years when it was just us.
Okay, so first reaction to this, good on Dean Thomas for doing this. I mean, that is the right move. I don't think he had any other choice. Otherwise, this would have been this is not something you can ignore. Like I mentioned in my last video, more people were talking about this than most things on UFC 330. Like I said, other than maybe the main event, everyone was talking about this whole situation. And if you haven't seen the situation I'm talking about, I did a video on this morning, just talking about Dean Thomas basically throwing his fighter, Gillian Robertson, under the bus as I bring it up here. Sorry, guys, should have had this ready. So yeah, did a video on this right here on the top of the channel here. So I think this is really good from Dean Thomas. I do wonder if the UFC maybe said something about this only because like this is from the Paramount account. It was like, clipped and put up right away. I don't know about that. I'm curious. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but I do wonder that if they said something like, look, man, like you're an analyst for us going forward. Like we need you to, kind of fix this thing and nip it in the butt. But yeah, no, I think this was a very good apology. The only thing I'll say, and this is just like a mild critique, it's not saying, oh, the apology wasn't good. I think the apology was good. I want to state that for the record. I think the apology was great. My only thing is, you don't hear him saying, hey, I take responsibility for Gillian's performance because he coached her, right? I know at the end of the day, you can only do what your fighter does, but I'm just wondering if there's any onus on the loss on his end as well, because he did coach her. He did give her corner advice. I didn't hear really anything in this clip about him saying, I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have said this. Like, I just think that would have been like kind of the perfect apology if he kind of took some responsibility as far as his role in Gillian Robertson's loss. Look, at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit here and say that Dean Thomas is to blame for Gillian Robertson's loss. Robertson's the one who had to go out there, perform. Maybe he did give her everything she needed and she didn't listen and it didn't work out in the end, or maybe she did listen to everything she said and it still wasn't good enough. I just think when it comes to fighters, oftentimes fans sort of just look at the fighter on their own, but there's an entire team behind them and they do bear responsibility for the fighter's performance, in my opinion. So yeah, that's sort of the only thing it would have been nice to hear here. But yeah, no, I think Thomas did the right thing. I think this because of him coming out with, and again, the timing of this is very good. Right away, first podcast comes out, we get this out, we get the clip out. Like I haven't even watched the show yet, but for him to go out there and say this immediately, I think is a very good look here for Dean Thomas. Good look for Deep Waters. I like this move, and hopefully this will be something that is just swept under the rug, because I think what you didn't want was him to ignore it or not acknowledge it or double down and say, I have nothing to, say differently or whatever. That would have made things worse, and it would have still been a thing. I always bring up the example of like the comedian and the heckler. Like if someone's heckling you in a comedy club as a comedian, you got to address the heckler. Otherwise, it's just going to keep ruining the show and it's going to distract other people. This would have been a distraction for Dean Thomas had he not gone out there and addressed this. So good on Dean Thomas, good on Deep Waters, good on UFC on Paramount for putting this out. And hopefully this is sort of behind us, going forward. Now, I do wonder what Gillian Robertson is going to be doing going forward. Like I mentioned, that was a pretty lopsided loss. We don't know what's going on with the future of the division. A lot of people just assume Weili Zhang's coming back. I don't know about that. I don't know if she's going to come back. She's up there. She's getting up there in age, right? What would her coming back really prove? Would it add more to her legacy to come back? And, would it make that much of a difference with her coming back? I don't know. It's hard to say unless she just wants to come back, win the title, and then retire as the champion. I wouldn't mind that either, but I just don't know how much more you're going to get out of Weili Zhang, who, coming up, just turned 37 last week. So I just wonder how much longer she's going to stick around. The other thing I got to mention quickly, people talk about Weili's belt. Don't forget about Tatiana Suarez. All right. Everyone sort of wrote her off after that loss to Weili Zhang, but Suarez is still a very dangerous fighter. 12-1 record. Yeah, it didn't look so great in the Weili Zhang fight beyond round 2. Round 1, she looked good, got some takedowns on Weili, but outside that, it was a tough one there. Our last couple of performances, are they like, wow, amazing performances? Not necessarily, but I think she's someone that we can't underestimate, could beat Mackenzie Dern at this point. So I think for Robertson, work your way back up. She's only 31. That's the other thing. Like, I think people think of her as being some sort of veteran because she's been in the UFC for such a long time. Sorry, not veteran, but being an older fighter because she's been in the UFC since, 2000 and, when was her debut as Ultimate Fighter? 2017. She's been in the UFC for close to a decade. So we think of her as being older, but you never know. And again, strawweight's not that deep. I mean, you've got Fatima Klein as one of the, risers. Alexia, who got that win over Amanda Lemos a couple weeks back. There's a few contenders here, but Robertson gets a couple wins. She could be right back in the saddle here. And we've seen fighters have tough performances and, learn from their mistakes and come back. So Gillian, the good news for her is based in Florida. There's a lot of options when it comes to coaching. I mean, there's even a possibility of her, what's stopping her from going back to American Top Team now that she's not with Dean Thomas? The whole reason she left American Top Team was they sort of had a rule that it's like, you have to be with us and our coaches. My understanding anyways, I might be wrong about this, but my understanding as to why she left ATT in the first place was because she wanted to go with Dean Thomas. He had left ATT and the rule was you can't do training outside of ATT for some reason. So I do wonder if maybe she looks at different coaching. She's at the Goat Shed. And I know Dean is part of her coaching strategy, obviously retired now, but just something to kind of keep an eye on there. But yeah, long story short, good on Dean Thomas for doing this apology. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Would love to hear your feedback on this. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, @Lynch on Sports. My name is James Lynch. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.